Last weekend saw the culmination of autumn racing on the Highveld and the launch of champion season in KZN. Over the two race meetings, 168 horses competed in 14 feature races for prize money just shy of 10 million rand. In KZN, 19 out-of-province trainers were amongst those who contested the 7 feature races on the card. By the end of the evening, Western Cape trainers had bagged 5 of the features, with another 1 going to Gauteng. The picture was somewhat different come the Gins and Roses Festival at Turfentine the following day. Just 5 out-of-province yards were represented by runners in the 7 graded races on the card. Whilst just 1 of these went to a trainer from outside the province, it was a successful 2 days for Crawford Racing, who came away with the Grade 1 computer form sprint and the Grade 2 drill horse stakes the day before.
Peter, your stable had a fantastic weekend, winning a graded race in 2 different provinces on consecutive days. That must take enormous organisation and planning.
Yeah, obviously it's organised well in advance. Brett's horse that came from Cape Town, Pacific Trader. It's not often done, travel from the coast up to the Highveld, but at the sprint distances you can be competitive. So he arrived earlier in the week, stabled with Michael, and he travelled really great, which is obviously the key to the whole issue, and showed his absolute best form on Saturday.
Will he be coming down to KZN for the winter?
No, he had a bit of an issue here last year, a wind issue, and for that reason he's not going to come again this year, so he'll go back to Cape Town.
And what about Search Party?
Search Party will be here in the next day or so, and obviously we'll aim him at the Sorgo Southern Sprint. His run was huge over a trip short of his best. He was eating up the ground late, running into traffic problems the whole way the last sort of furlong and a half. So it was an exceptional performance on his part as well.
Talking of Friday night, Undercover Agent looked exceptional in the pre-race parade, and he duly performed on the track. You must have been delighted with that win.
It was an outstanding run. He's a very big horse. You know, he's well over 600 kilos, so he takes an exceptional amount of work. So you're always a little bit concerned about his condition. Always looks big in my eye. We did miss a crucial gallop at Greyville 10 days out when we had all the rain. Fortunately, we managed to get a gallop into him here at Summerveld on very testing ground, which in retrospect was probably what he needed. But it was a very game performance. They obviously know him, and Lyle, who won on him last year in the Gold Challenge, took him on very early at the top of the straight. But he showed his true mettle and true courage to rally late and get back.
How has he taken that run, and are we set to see him in the Gold Challenge?
He's taken the run exceptionally well. He's a very, very tough individual. Hasn't left a grain of feed since the race, and coming off the track this morning, he nearly launched Billy Jacobson. So he's obviously feeling very good in himself and onward and upward.
Eric Sands said to me ahead of the race he wanted Rainbow Bridge to come away with a good experience. Did he?
I was exceptionally pleased with his pre-race antics and behaviour. Eric said that normally on a race day he's an absolute nightmare to deal with. He frets and sweats up and that, but he travelled to the races very well. He was nice and relaxed in the preliminaries. Eric's obviously got a whole routine with him. They put one of the apprentices on to ride him around the parade ring, and he was great. He didn't, he got into the parade ring not sweating. It was an exceptional run. Anton rode an exceptional race on him, getting over from the outside draw, 1 out, 1 back, turning in, and he ran on very strongly to the line. He's come through his race very well. He's trotted out sound. He'll have a quiet week now, and obviously his next target will be the Gold Challenge.
The first Vodacom Durban July log for 2019 was released early last week, and not surprisingly, Rainbow Bridge finds himself second on a rating of 124. Should her sensational half-brother Hawam, who finds himself third on a rating of 121, stand his ground, punters could be on the edge of their seats come the first Saturday in July. But top of the log is last year's winner, Do It Again. Justin Do It Again and Made to Conquer galloped at Greyville a week ago. Was this part of their winter season preparation?
I just felt, Do It Again, I want him to come to Natal and start with a positive note. Unfortunately, in the drill hall, he drew the widest. And then the other option was a Pinnacle 1200. But unfortunately, it was put on at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm not keeping Do It Again out at midnight, especially on the roads and stuff like that. So I just rather decided to gallop early in the day when the light was still up.
So, Do It Again in the yellow, Made to Conquer, it's with the white and black cap on the left-hand side.
I just don't want to knock him that hard into his first race, so I think we're doing the right thing. We've chosen 3 races, so it's very simple, 3 races, and unfortunately it doesn't allow for a prep run. So he goes the Gold Challenge, the Vodacom Durban July, and if all is still going well, into the Champions Cup at the end of the season.
And you were pleased with how he handled himself at Greyville?
Yes, look, he's become a professional, and I was very impressed with both horses. I thought even Made to Conquer at the weight, so there's not much. There wasn't much weight between them in the gallop. Come Durban July, there'll be 7 kilos. So it was very impressive for Made to Conquer, and as I said, I was very happy. But it's extremely competitive, so you can't be good. You're gonna have to be great this season. So let's hope it all goes well.
A noticeable absentee from the Vodacom Durban July log is O Susanna. How has O Susanna come through her run in the Grade 1 Empress Club Stakes?
Look, everything went fine. It's just obviously a little bit too much, and during the race I could see the altitude had hit her. I was concerned afterwards and attended to her needs immediately. She was tired after the race, her head on the ground. I could see it looked like even she was starting to tie up a little bit. It just, the altitude, unfortunately, over that distance just got the better of her.
So where to from now?
The discussions will happen this week on whether she will race here in Natal or go to stud. It's been in the air. I just wanted to see how she's come out of Joburg. I have to put it to pen to paper. And, I got to sound convincing. So this is what happens when these horses are extremely valuable, and both things are important. Her breeding career, her racing career are just as important. She's done everything on the track, and we're one of those trainers and those yards that respect that. You've seen we don't just go run horses for no reason, and if they become good, we're very careful in making sure that their racing career endures as long as possible. So she's doing really well at home. It's hard. She flies down the track every day. So is she working well? Yes, she works well every day. So it's a very hard horse to assess. There's never a bad day with her. As I said, hopefully I'm convincing, and we'll see her out, whether it's in the Vodacom Durban July or it's in the fillies version on the day. But we'll have to decide that this week.
Justin, the Greyville 1900 is going to be busy for your yard, from what you've said.
Yeah, look here. So what happens normally in the Vodacom Durban July, the top weights aren't always so high rated. A lot of trainers don't run their horses because of the conditions of the race. So a lot of the times you see the guys not running. This year they're running. So you've got Do It Again off a 125 and Rainbow Bridge off a 124. So now everyone's weights drop. A lot of horses will be under sufferance, which is a bit of a problem for the 3-year-olds. All the 3-year-olds at the moment, bar Hawam, will be under sufferance. My horses at the moment, Double Mint, Magnificent 7, are all under sufferance. So the good thing is that what I normally have to do is I come to Durban with a horse that's under the radar, and I have to run them in Pinnacle plates. I can't run them in the Greyville 1900. I can't do this because if they run well there, they get heavily penalized, and every advantage for the July goes out the window. So this year, the good news is that I can run everything in the Greyville 1900. I can go for it because no matter how hard they get penalized, they were still going to carry 53 in the July. So horses like Double Mint, Magnificent 7 are going to be, it's going to be competitive in that race. They are horses that I think are lower than their rating, but the art is to keep them there. So let's see. I think it's going to be a very interesting race. There's some very good other horses in there. You saw Eyes Wide Open. Unfortunately, as I said, the jockeys protested and they moved the Sledgehammer to the Polly. Certainly didn't suit a horse like that. Back on grass where we should be racing, he will be a different horse. So it's going to be extremely competitive, but as I said, that is one race that I've earmarked, and I want to win that race. So we're going guns blazing for that.
You've got other horses in that race as well.
Yeah, no, we've got Platinum Prince, who's a nice backup, but there's a Pinnacle Mile we might nominate for, so I might actually take him out of this, because I think it's just going to be all the horses firing up for the July, so I want to rather maybe just make it a little bit easier for him. He can run in a group race later in the season. Made to Conquer is also, he's doing so well. It's going to be very interesting, this race. For me, it's going to be, I don't know if anything in South Africa is good enough to beat Rainbow Bridge and do it again, to be honest. I know Hawam won the race in Joburg very impressively, but he's going to have to be impressive. He's going to have to be super, super good. As good as they think he is and everything, he's going to need to be that and more to take on these older horses. So I think this year, 3-year-olds better raise their game, because these older horses are properly good. You know, these are horses that should be racing in Dubai and Hong Kong, but obviously we can't get them there at the moment. So it's going to be a tough ask for 3-year-olds.
Stay tuned, as we'll be right back on the other side of this